Hello everyone out there in Art Nouveau land, it is me, Leilani Joy, and I have a special video for today where I'll be reviewing a brand new acrylic paint set courtesy of the folks over at Artistro. Now, I love art supplies, you guys know this. I probably have art supplies I've never even used, I just bought them because they seemed exciting at the time. So it's always fun for me to experiment and try something new and let you guys know what I honestly think about it. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll show you the lovely set that they sent me, and it just so happens that I have a pretty cool idea for what I want to do with these today. Now, I love hunting for frames, and I recently came across these lovely little ornate, like bright colored frames, and I was like, I haven't done some little mini paintings in a while, so I actually have two of these, and I'm going to paint some little sisterly goddesses with my new Artistro, I think I'm saying that right, Artistro acrylic paints, and let's check it out now. Okay, so today I'll be testing out the Artistro acrylic paint set of 24 colors. So let's take a look in the box and see what we're working with. So this set includes a little handheld palette, which is great if you like to stand up and paint and move around a little bit. They've also given us these little mood stickers to help create your own palettes, maybe give you some creative ideas. And finally, they've also included a great little starter set of paintbrushes. You get 2 flats and 1 pointed round. I think it would be great if they also included a little palette knife, which is always handy for mixing colors. What's great about this set is it has a wide range and variety of colors, even with just 24. And it includes metallic gold and metallic silver. They also boast that they have their own exclusive lemon yellow and an exclusive phthalo blue. What's also really nice about this is they give you a larger size of black and white, which of course you're always going to use the most of, so that's really nice to have. Another feature that I noticed right off the bat about these paints, which I really like, is that the caps themselves are very heavy duty. These look like they're going to last and they're not going to crack and break through. For example, like this other brand here that have these very thin tops that when you screw them back on, it tends to break through the top, leaking paint, drying them out, and basically ruining the entire tube. And for the gold standard comparison today, I'm going to be comparing these mostly to golden paints, which are on the higher end, and I do really love to buy these for my professional work. And for example, they have great caps on their paint, and I've never had trouble with those breaking through. Okay, so let's jump into some official scientific testing. And first I'm going to do sort of an opacity and thickness test comparing the Artistro white with golden white. So I'm going to place a little dollop of each of these down, and then I'm going to take a palette knife and just kind of apply the same amount of pressure to swipe it and see how that smooths over. I'm going to wipe it off and then smooth the golden white, and that looks pretty similar, so that's actually pretty good. I can tell the golden white is just a little bit thicker. I'm going to blend this out a little bit, wipe my brush, blend out a little bit, and then you can kind of see where Artistro is going to be a little bit thinner. And I'm going to do a couple more strokes here using each of these with my brush cleaned, and they're not bad. It's really not bad. I think it's comparable, though you can see that golden white is holding up to the opacity a little bit better. So basically what's going to happen in this case, if you use a slightly cheaper brand like Artistro, which is perfectly fine, you can build up your solids using a couple more layers, which like something like golden white or a more expensive white, you might not have to do as much layering because it's a little bit more opaque. For my next test, I'm going to compare similar colors on white, sort of for their opacity, saturation, and how they flow on a different type of surface. Now, unfortunately, for some reason, I couldn't find two of the same color, so I'm going to be comparing Artistro Vermilion and Golden's Primary Magenta, which are pretty similar colors, so you can kind of see the effect here. So I'm putting a dollop down of each of these, and I'm going to use a Q-tip to kind of see how these perform and how they spread over a smooth white surface like this. So there's the Artistro Vermilion on top, and then I'm going to use another clean Q-tip with the Golden Primary Magenta. And you can see right off the bat that the golden is a little bit thicker and it's a little less flowy. It could also be that it's slightly older and it has been opened, so it's like a little bit drier, but I think that the color saturation is actually quite comparable, so I'm really happy to see that. And for my last little test, I'm taking a wet Q-tip and I'm going to get a little bit of this paint and see how that flows with just a little bit of water. And then I'm going to do the same with the Golden Primary Magenta. And then we'll go ahead and let this dry so that we can get a better look at how these both performed. And here's our finished and dried little test. And you can see that they both actually look pretty similar, and the Artistro looks very bright, very saturated. The water did not make it separate or thin too much. So in conclusion, I think these are ready to take to a more professional setting and do some real painting with. So let's go. So with my Artistro acrylic paints, I'll be painting two paintings today. These are two 4x6 paintings that will be on hardboard, and they will be inspired by the goddesses of Calypso and Calliope. And I've done these little concept sketches ahead of time, and then I'm going to go ahead and start painting. Once my background layer is 100% dry, I'm going to be using some Surreal transfer paper and my little mini sketch here to transfer my portrait onto my hardboard. So like with all my paintings, I planned out my colors ahead of time by doing a little color sketch using Procreate, and now I'm going to take my Artistro paints and do my best to create a color match for this color that I've created digitally. So I have a few different colors here. I have their champagne, I have a burnt sienna, and I have some oranges and yellows, and basically I'm just going to experiment and do some tests, let those tests dry until I get a color match as close to the skin tone that I'm after. So here's a pro tip from me to you. Do not do it the way I'm doing it, because I'm making it a lot harder on myself, I realized after the fact. So what I should have done here is actually painted the skin tone in a solid shape and then done the transfer on top of that, and that would have made it a whole lot easier, and that way I wouldn't have to paint around all my little delicate transfer lines. So I will do that on the second one. So hey, we already learned something today. So for her eyeshadow here, I'm going to be mixing some yellow ochre and their metallic gold. That way when you turn the piece a little bit, if it catches the light, you'll have this nice little iridescent shimmer right around the eyes, which are the focal point, and I love to create just a little bit of sparkle around there sometimes. Okay, so at this point I want to get my second piece, which is Calypso, and get her started. So I'm going to be painting another skin tone, and this time I am going to follow my own advice and paint a solid shape where all of her skin tone is. And then I did the transfer on top of that, so I don't have to paint all the way around and I get a nice cleaner flat shape. So yeah, this one will probably turn out better. And then I also did a mask technique to create her white hair. So you can see here I peeled off my frisket mask, and then I have a nice clean shape for her white dreads back there. Final touches on Calliope and Calypso now, and in conclusion of my review, I think these paints performed incredibly well. I did have to do a little bit more layering than I usually have to do with golden, but the colors are very vibrant, as you can see. And overall, I'm really happy with how this paint set performed. So if you'd love to jump into acrylic, this is a great starter kit. You have everything you need to get started, all the paints to mix any color you want, and you can also get a 10% discount from me to you. If you shop at artistro.com and use my code Leilani10, you get 10% off anything in their shop. And you can also shop on Amazon.com with code 10Leilani to get 10% off all their Artistro products there. So I hope you'll give these a try, and I'd love to see what you create with them. So if you try these out, or if you do anything that's inspired by one of my videos, fan art, or just something you want to share with me, you can always tag Leilani Joy Look on Instagram, and I'll do my best to find it. See you over there. And now, making their debut are Calliope and Calypso, all finished and appearing in their final frames, and I'm pretty excited about how these two turned out. If you'd like to own these originals, find prints and other products, just hop on over to my official store at etsy.com/shop/LeilaniJoyArt. And if you'd like to set up a payment plan, I can do that for you too, so just contact me at sales@leilanijoy.com. Hope to see you on another video very soon. Bye!